So, hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Chewing the Fat. Here with me today, I have the beautiful Mary, who has just started with Simplr Health. This is what, Mary, week 3?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going into week 3 now. Now, to kick us off and get started, Mary, do you want to share how much weight you've lost in 3 weeks? 2 weeks, sorry.
I've lost 3 kilos.
Huge.
Yes, which is amazing.
Look at the smile on your face. It's amazing. So, I
Yeah.
mean, share with me. We've obviously spoken last week. This is our second weekly catch up. Do you want to just share with me how's the week been? What are you dealing with? I know that you had a sore tooth last week. So, oh my God, you handled that like an absolute trooper, still sending through your food diaries and getting the protein in there. How's the week been?
Yeah, it's been good. I've found that it is a mindset, and I have definitely put myself in the zone. And I love vegetables anyway, and I know I'm quite restricted with the veggies that I can eat, but I love all those veggies that I can eat. Part of my problem with my toothache was that I do like to eat raw vegetables, and a lot of my lunchtime meals were raw, even the asparagus and the broccoli and the cauliflower and mushrooms. So mushrooms are okay, but the other ones that are a bit harder kind of got into my tooth where I had the damage. So that exacerbated everything. So for the next couple of days, pretty much I couldn't eat. So I was just having the protein drinks. And that got me through. But
Well,
it's sorry, go ahead.
no, I just was going to say I'm super proud of you for making sure that you were still getting, the protein 4 times a day and sort of, I guess, making it work with what you could with the veggies. Now, did you end up deciding to cook your veggies or steam your veggies? Or you just waited?
I did. I'll have to. I am time poor because I do have a lot of other things that I'm juggling at the moment, and I do like my veggies raw. So I kind of still having some raw, but I'm choosing what I'm having, and I've had my daughter cook up a few for me. So, but in the evenings she tends to cook for me, so that helps. But during the day, I tend to have the raw veggies, and I have things like capsicum, which is softer, and I'm actually enjoying eating the dill pickles and the sauerkraut because I
Wow.
like that stuff too. So I'm having them as well. And I find they help keep me going too.
Yeah, and great for the gut because they're fermented foods. So that's really, really good. Um, okay, awesome. So other than the toothache though, how have you found the past 2 weeks being on protocol?
Good. Um, I have to admit, I did expect it to be a bit more challenging, but it hasn't been, maybe because I'm really in the zone. I think the thing I found the most challenging is the olive oil, having 2 teaspoons, being Greek and, using a lot of it. I use a teaspoon, and then I have to admit, sometimes I go, "Yep, that's a teaspoon," and it could be maybe it's a little bit more, but that's probably the only thing really.
Okay. Yeah, look, it's about those little habits and, all of those. We just want to remember that the way that the protocol's designed is very specific, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so you'll get the hang of that and we'll just keep a note of that in the food diaries. But, sort of like you said earlier, would you say, it's just simple. It's actually not supposed to be really, really challenging. It's not like supposed to restrict you from being able to live your life. It's about getting you down to that base level, and it's just simple.
Yeah, it is simple. I think it wouldn't be simple if you didn't like vegetables, then it might be more challenging. But if you
Don't
do
like
like to eat,
vegetables, and then I think there's some other issues going on.
yeah, I agree. But all of those veggies, I mean, I even love cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. I don't think I can have Brussels sprouts, but cabbage I can. So, and I go back and I check quite often to see. And I've been quite creative. Like I've made my beef patties and I've grated zucchini, and broccoli in there and red capsicum. And then I've sort of made them into little, and they're not binding well because there's no binding agent in there. But that's okay. I just kind of do what I can, and I put them in the air fryer. and there's my 200 grams, and you know, there's two patties full of veggies, so I feel like I'm
Brilliant.
eating a bit more, and they've been fantastic.
Oh, that is such a brilliant idea. The absolute one of the best things I love about coaching through protocol is listening to other people's creativity within what
Yeah.
they make. Because a lot of people ask for recipes or for food ideas, and we're like, no, it's up to you. Get creative. Like, figure out how to use that sheet of paper and what you can do with it. Because that's the beauty of it, right? Like you've essentially got simple ingredients and it's time for you to figure out how to make that into something special. So that's awesome. I'm gonna have to try those meatballs because that sounds amazing.
Hmm. You can
Um,
try my burrito bowl too. It's just beef mince with those veggies again, and with spices. My daughter made it for me last night, and it's like, oh my God. But so
fantastic.
you're having your mince with all these lovely spices and all those veggies through it, and a little
Fantastic.
bit of oil.
Yeah, see, mince is like one of my favorite go-tos. That's brilliant. Oh, well, Mary, that's amazing. Like, and I know, do you want to just share with us a little bit about why you came to Simpler Health and what led you here in the first place?
Well, I guess like a lot of people, struggling with weight over years and being a little bit older, I had actually lost about 15 kilos beforehand.
Awesome.
Probably not in the best and healthiest way, just kind of happened. And then I found I was a lot more comfortable because I'd lost the weight. I felt better. I could move around better. And then they started to creep on again. And in the 2 years, I gained about 5 kilos. And I thought, no. And then I was literally having nightmares about it.
Oh,
I was, because I felt sluggish. My body was heavy. My knees were playing up, my lower back. And then I thought, I've got to do something. And then you walked into my life.
well, my sister walked into your life who said, "My
That's right.
help you."
Yeah.
Um, I really love hearing that because I think a lot of people get tied up in just maybe just simply the weight aspect of it and not everything else that comes along with it, like the fatigue, the pain, the lack of motivation to want to get out and exercise and move. Because obviously these are all things that play into our overall holistic health. So I think it's really incredible that you've just stepped up and you're like, no, I will not let myself get into that position ever again. Now it's time for me to look for a way to do it in a healthy fashion and maybe with some support. I've definitely found that the biggest distinction between the Simple Health Protocol and every other nutrition system is that you have a coach, right? You have someone there
Mhm.
holding your hand, text, you can text them and they're holding you accountable, right?
Exactly. Accountability is a big thing.
Yes. And I love how you sort of said that you found that is when you gained the 5 kilos, you sort of stopped wanting to get out there and move and the way you were speaking about it was as if it was in the past tense. So would you say that in the past 2 weeks that's changed a little bit?
Yeah, it has. It definitely has. Look, again, I have certain blockers. Like I think the other thing with this is prioritizing yourself. So being accountable and prioritizing. And I haven't done that for a long time. And to be honest, in the last 2 weeks, I have, because when I take something on, I take it on, and I'm loyal to it. And I take it on full on. So I look after so many people,
Mm.
and the last person is me. I would stand up and have my dinner and not worry about my daughter would cook something or whatever's there. Whereas now, I say to her, she rang me the other day at work, said, Mum, can you have these spices? And I said, yes. Okay, great. So she can cook for me, because she knows that I'm particular now. These last 2 weeks, I've been cooking and preparing those meals for me and going, no, I'm going to make time for me.
Mm.
So it has made a real difference, not just my physical, but mental too. And I think that's where it all starts.
Absolutely. You've hit the nail on the head there. Like, I think that a lot of the time I mean, I can speak to this. When I take on everything else that I'm doing and I don't focus on myself, I don't focus on looking after me, then everything around me becomes really difficult. Everything becomes harder. It becomes sort of like a burden, right? Because you are at the source of the things that you are doing out here, right? And so
Mhm.
until you look after yourself, you're not going to be able to bring that, your best contribution to others. So I think that's really powerful. And even just to have been able to grasp that in 2 weeks, like that really is what it's about.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mary, you don't need to share what exactly your goal weight is, but we're obviously 3 kilos down. How many more kilos to go until you hit what you would say right now is your target?
Well, I was being realistic. I wanted to be realistic from day one, and I told you 10 kilos. Ideally, if I could do 15, that would be great, but I want to be real about it. So that's why I'm not setting myself such a high target because then I don't want to go, oh my God, it's too hard, put my hands up in the air and just not do it. So I'm
Yeah.
saying I'm going for 10. Once I hit 10, then we can discuss it
Okay.
again.
Okay, and we're going to do the healthiest, best option. And like we sort of talk about, especially as you head into week 3 now, you want to remind yourself that what you're doing right now within phase 1 is we're getting things down to that base level. We're removing and reducing inflammation, rebalancing hormones, and of course, like ridding your body of toxins and things like that whilst we burn the body fat, right? So there's all these important processes going on. And once we get the 10 kilos down, we will reassess, see what we want to do, because then we'll start sort of working your way into a normal balanced way of eating. And that's when we get exercise going as well. So we can work on leaning out, getting some muscles, start creating some goals around exercise and movement as well. So, okay, in that case, we've got 7 kilos to go.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm excited. Keep keep yourself just really intentional this week. If there's one
Yep.
thing you can improve on this week, what would it be?
Um, it would be re pulling out that teaspoon again for the olive oil. That's what it
Brilliant.
would be.
Okay. And it's my job to hold you accountable to that. So when you write down on your food diary, I'm going to be double checking.
Yes.
Okay, all
But
right. Because, I think sometimes also what can happen, and what I've definitely noticed, is that when you start seeing the results, you start becoming ever so slightly complacent. And you
hmm
start being like, oh, yeah, like I've got this. We get a little bit cocky and we're like, yeah, I can totally do this. It's easy, right? But it's in the basics, it's in the meticulous work that we get the results. So, that's why I always ask, okay, what are we going to be able to do just that tiny bit better this week? And it's the teaspoon of olive oil. Okay, so that's the goal
yeah,
for the week.
yeah. You see, my salad tastes so much better with a tiny bit of extra oil. That's right. But
Don't worry,
I do
olive
have to share
oil.
something else.
Oh yeah, go.
Um, it only has been 2 weeks, and even under the 2 weeks, I have noticed, whether you believe me or not, I have noticed a difference in my movement in my body. I have been diagnosed with osteoarthritis several months ago, and I have a lower sore back, which I've had for many years. But I have noticed an improvement in my movement in my knees so much because going down to tie up my shoelace has been really hard because of my knees. And I'm actually getting down lower than I was able to 2 weeks ago. And that's the hand on my heart, true.
Oh my gosh, to me, that is like 10 times more important than losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is unreal. I feel like I want to pull up the text messages between you and I when you were like, oh, I have osteoarthritis in my knees. And I said to you, I was like, don't worry, we'll sort that out. And
Yes, you did.
you're like, are you sure? And you
Yeah.
know what, Mary, I've really got to acknowledge your trust and your belief in myself and the Simpler Health team because that means the world to me. I'm gonna find it.
Yeah. And you know what else I like about you? That you pick on the like, no, you pick me up on my little like when I said, oh, I had salmon and I know I'm supposed to have 200 grams. It was about 240 grams. And I thought, what's the point of getting rid of that little bit? That's why I ate it. That was my reason. And you said, okay, next time make sure you have 200. And I went, okay, Okay, like you're a taskmaster, and I really like that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You put
That,
me back in line.
thank you. I personally had a fantastic coach through protocol, and that comes from my years of being a gymnast. Okay, I have the text messages here. So funny. And you said you were taking something for medicinal purposes for your osteoarthritis. And I said the OA knees will decrease with protocol as inflammation is reduced with metabolic correction. So we are going to monitor that, maintain it, and we'll see how we can constantly keep building, okay?
Hmm.
Unreal.
Okay.
Okay, we'll check back in again with Mary. I don't know, like maybe people can leave a comment or they can let us know when they want to hear from you again. But we've got 7 kilos to go. So I would recommend we check in maybe when we've got 4 to go, and then we'll check in again at the end.
Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good.
And
Pressure's on.
exactly. I was going to say, now, Mary, don't stuff it up.
I won't.
No, I have full faith. You've been brilliant. All right, my love,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for taking the time and thank you for being able to contribute this to other people because imagine how many people might be listening that are dealing with the same things you've been dealing with. Like this is just huge.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. Thank you, Emma.
No,
Appreciate it.
that's okay.